This is Dan Lindblade. I'm the president and CEO of the Chamber, and I want to welcome you all to our multiple pathways to the American dream. And that is brought to you by our good friends at Florida Atlantic University, the Center for Online and Continuing Education, Broward College, Kaiser University, and Broward Technical Colleges and Technical High Schools. That's Atlantic, McFadder, and Sheridan. You know, this is brought to you by our Workforce Council here at the Chamber, and it's chaired capably by Andy Fernandez. Today, we're going to have some great speakers for you. Most of them will be on tape, but we do have in person as well. We're going to have Dr. Vicki Cartwright, the superintendent of Broward Public Schools. We'll have Pam Sans, vice president of product management and partnerships at Kelly. Lori Wheeler, who's on our board, vice president of the Marine Industries Association of South Florida. Another board member, Michael Goldstein. He's the president and CEO of LAN Infotech. Jerry Angeli is the founder and managing director of Sterling Operations. And Gene Seaver, associate vice president of learning and development at Broward Health. And rounding it out will be a Hall of Famer from the Miami Dolphins, Dwight Stevenson, founder and CEO of D. Stevenson Construction. A couple of announcements that we want to talk to you about right now. We want you to make sure that you are understanding that resource materials will be sent to you. And we're going to edit this. We are recording this. We'll edit this and have that available for all of our attendees via email and also on the Chamber's YouTube channel. We'll be sending you a survey after this program. We'd like you to fill that out. We really want to know what your thoughts are, how we can improve this and make it better. As always, on the features that we have on the platform, you can use the Q&A function that you can locate that on the bottom of your screen. Our panelists will be able to answer questions for you. Near the end of the program, we'll be able to do that. But if you do have a question, just put it up there, and who knows, I may bring it in at any point in time after and in between our speakers. Again, our sponsors, Broward Technical Colleges and Technical High Schools, Atlantic, McFadder, and Sheridan, Florida Atlantic University Center of Online and Continuing Education, Broward College, and Kaiser University.
Create a you that's fearless, a future that's limitless, with a plan that's seamless, at a college that costs less. Spend less to train for a career in a year or less at Broward Technical Colleges. Start hands-on training with qualified instructors today for a career in the medical field, culinary, business, automotive, and more. Enter the workforce with little to no student debt with available job placement assistance. Come where the possibilities are endless at Broward Technical Colleges.
Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be one of the co-sponsors for today's event. I am Jane Morgan from Florida Atlantic University. The Center for Online and Continuing Education oversees online programs, continuing education, and the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. FAU Continuing Education offers non-credit pathways to employment with a wide variety of industry certification, training, and non-credit certificates. To address a critical need for cybersecurity professionals, FAU Continuing Education has launched a new non-credit cybersecurity bootcamp in partnership with Thrive DX. FAU Continuing Education also works with businesses and municipalities in our community to customize training for employee professional development. Supporting and providing skills training for local employers is embedded into the FAU Continuing Education mission. Thank you to the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chambers Education and Workforce Council for hosting this informative event. On behalf of FAU Center for Online and Continuing Education, thank you for this opportunity.
CT has changed my life in a way that it showed me that no matter what profession, you're gonna have to continue learning. I feel like the certifications in the program that came along with every course catapulted my career. Things are constantly changing just as fast as we create defenses, hackers create new attacks. And without my CTE studies, I wouldn't have been prepared for a future in cybersecurity.
I had a long career. I was 31 years as a police officer. Then 25 years in the Coast Guard as an investigator. So the VA is like, well, you're changing careers, so we will pay for your program. In a year and a half, you can be out of the school and to a full-time job. I've already been offered 3 jobs. There's opportunities out there for anybody that wants it.
Speaker today is, I'll call her new to the role as our permanent superintendent. She was the interim and she's now the permanent superintendent, Dr. Vicki Cartwright. She's with using students first as her guiding principle. We just had her speak with our board meeting at our board luncheon. So let's hear from Dr. Cartwright.
Good afternoon. I'm Broward County Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Vicki Cartwright, and I welcome you to the Multiple Pathways to the American Dream webinar. Thank you to the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce for hosting this important event and to all the industry leaders who will be sharing their valuable insights about local, in-demand careers. This is truly a unique and remarkable opportunity for students, recent high school graduates, and anyone exploring a different career path to learn directly from local business leaders about the thriving industries and well-paying jobs available in our South Florida community. This event is appropriately named Multiple Pathways to the American Dream because there are many avenues you can take to achieve professional success in life. A recent study found that one of the most significant factors for a long-term successful career is acquiring the skills and proficiencies that have value in the workplace. I'll repeat that. One of the most important factors in having a long-term successful career is having the skills and knowledge that is needed to fulfill jobs in your community. And that doesn't necessarily mean attending a 4-year college or university. That may not be your desired path. The great news is we have a solution for you. The career-focused skills needed to find rewarding, well-paying jobs that are in demand locally are available right here in Broward County. We have the 3 largest technical colleges in the state, and they all are a part of Broward County Public Schools. Atlantic Technical College, McFadder Technical College, and Sheridan Technical College. All of the programs offered at our Broward Technical Colleges are either state or nationally accredited and are all taught by certified teachers. Also, they all have local industry advisory committees. This means each of our career programs has a group of local professionals providing guidance and insight about their industry workforce needs to ensure our students gain the knowledge and skills to succeed. Broward Technical Colleges have awarded more industry certifications than any other educational institution in the state for the past 6 years. In fact, McFadder Technical operates the Broward Fire Academy. Atlantic Technical has the largest apprenticeship program in the state, and Sheridan Technical has the largest corporate automotive training program in the country. From architecture and information technology to health science and tourism and hospitality, there are more than 65 different programs to choose from in Broward County Public Schools technical colleges. In fact, most programs take less than 1 year to complete and cost less than $5,000. Financial aid is also available to assist with the cost. The American dream is not exclusive to those who can afford a 4-year university education. There are many well-paying, in-demand jobs waiting to be filled with qualified candidates. If you're close to graduating from high school, are a recent graduate, or perhaps you're considering a career change, I urge you to listen to our speakers, who are leaders in their local industries. Take notes and be diligent about obtaining the information you need to make informed decisions about your future. Remember, there are many paths to achieve success, and reaching your fullest potential is what I wish for all of you. Thank you for your time.
First in-person speaker, as we work behind the scenes to get that taken care of. And our first speaker is Pam Sans. She's the Vice President of Product Management and Partnerships at Kelly and a global leader in workforce management solutions. Pam oversees partnership strategy and project management design and execution. She also spearheads Kelly's equity and work platform, which focuses on reducing barriers to work and connecting underleveraged talent with meaningful work opportunities. I had a chance to talk to Pam yesterday, and I'm very excited about what she's going to say to us today, and she's going to bear witness to her journey in professionalism. And without further ado, Pam, why don't you take it away?
Oh, happy to do so, Dan. And it's really great to be with this group today. And when you reached out and told me the theme of today's event, I was really excited because spending 20 plus years in this industry of what we call staffing, I have seen people be so successful by leveraging multiple pathways. And one of the things you and the team had asked me to share is just a little bit about my personal story. And I'm actually one of those individuals who chose a multiple pathway to get to the career that I have today. You see, I left high school and I started college as many people do, or some choose not to. But about 2 years into my college journey, I found somebody that I was quite interested in. It's proven to be my soulmate. We got married. And I left school at that time, and I chose to take a path where I got into the world of work. But there was always something that made me feel like I didn't complete that degree, and that there was a lacking. And when I would look for new opportunities, one of the first things I would normally see was, a degree is required or preferred. And I always felt like there was something lacking. And being very personal and transparent with this group, I will say that the song, Pomp and Circumstance, was kind of always the music left unsung in my soul to hear that at a college graduation. But I went on through my career and continued to grow and develop within the industry, and spent a good 75% of my career without a degree, and was able to reach some status within the company and good salary range. But I still hadn't completed that degree, and it always just really wore on me that I hadn't done that. And so I can empathize with individuals that maybe want a degree, and either because of need or just not wanting to go that path, don't have it. And then wanting to maybe even look at that as something to do later, which I did complete a few years ago, I'm happy to say, with this group. But it's not always the path that everyone needs to take. And the way to personal success does have multiple pathways. And so one of the things that you and the team had asked me to speak about today was just what some of those careers are that are very successful careers that don't require a degree, and even careers that we see that we place for on a regular basis, as we're a large employer around the globe. And so when I look at some of the industries that are relevant and important to us here in our community, if you look at even just the marine industry, I know we're going to hear from industry experts as well, you've got quite an electrical component that comes with that now. And there are absolutely opportunities within the electrical field, electrical technician field, and even the fun field of the crew industry, especially for those that are non-college bound or interested, but wanting to travel, wanting to explore, wanting to learn. There is so much opportunity within that industry vertical. And as we look at others like IT and healthcare, where many times there is a definite barrier when you look at job applications that say, a degree is required, there are so many opportunities within those fields, such as developers and software architects within the IT space and computer support specialists, just to name a few. And then when you look at healthcare, a profession that you would think a degree is required, you've got phlebotomists, you have LPNs, you have the role of paramedic, which is really an emergency medical person when someone needs it the most, where degrees are not required. Maybe industry certifications are there, and that's where a lot of our technical and trade schools come in, but definitely not required. And areas where people can explore their strengths and their interests and their passions with jobs that allow them to take that multiple pathway. And I also one of my favorites is looking at transportation and logistics. As many of you may know, if you're familiar with Kelly, we place everything from scientists to chief technology officers, all the way to your entry-level worker. But I've also looked into the transportation industry with logistics right now. Everybody knows what's going on with supply chain. The demand for talent within logistics and supply chain and transportation is so great that so many companies are actually right now going back and doing what we suggest they do as an industry leader, and look at your job descriptions and say, do we need to have that in there? Do we need to have that a degree is required? Because if it's not, let's be bold and let's remove that. That's something that Kelly is leading in the industry. I'm working with a large client right now that's a global client, where they have removed the education requirement from their entry-level positions because they realized it was no longer needed. And let me tell you what that does for somebody looking for a job. It allows them to explore new opportunities, because many times when someone sees that a degree is required, they will look right past that job description. And as individuals that want to hire talent, and we know the skills gap is huge right now, there is so much more demand for the jobs that are available than the skills and the abilities of those, or of the access to talent that we have today, that we need to be opening up and looking at other talent pools. We need to give them the satisfaction of knowing they can be successful in a job without having a formal degree. And we can help them start that career ladder together. And some of the things that we can also look at is we can look at what some of those alternatives are. And when you look at it, sometimes what happens is individuals come to completing their college or their high school education, either through a traditional way, through a high school graduation or through a GED, and they're left with a couple of choices that many of us as parents and as industry leaders and as individuals that are employers put in front of them, which is college, no college, maybe it's military, which is always a good option for individuals that are interested in that. But there is the vocational schools, the technical schools, which we know is so represented on this call today. But there's also the benefit of going out for individuals to go out and get their feet wet and just get a job themselves and to get that experience. But there's also opportunities as we look at multiple pathways for volunteer efforts, for travel abroad, for the apprenticeships and the internships that many companies are willing to afford now, because they want to offer that on-the-job training and employed worker training, like our workforce development folks make available to us in this area. So as we think about this and we think about our own personal stories, we think about the stories of our future generations of workers and those in the workplace right now that may feel like they're held back because they don't have a college degree or that piece of paper, we need to help change that conversation. We need to help reduce that barrier and remove that barrier by helping them see there is so much opportunity out there. There's a place to leverage their strengths, a place to leverage all that they have to offer to the world of work. And when we look at some folks that have been successful about that, I went out and I did some research, and I want to share this, is that there's the ones that we all hear about on a regular basis. You definitely have your Steve Jobs in that list. You have your Bill Gates that many know about. You have Mark Zuckerberg, right? All individuals who have shown just an incredible amount of success without having a college degree. But there's some others that are maybe not as well known that I want to make sure we also look at. Many of you on this call may know, or I hope you would know, the artist Jay-Z. He's now one of the first billionaires who has his own record label with no college degree and really struggled in his high school years. And then for those of you that may be Food Network watchers, you can look no further than Rachel Ray. She doesn't say she's a chef, but she says she's a cook and has a net value of over $100 million. And again, no formal education, but she did what we all need to encourage folks to do. Find your passion, find a hobby that you love working on, and turn that into profit. And so I just ask all of you on this call with me today, whether we be in education or employment or in helping people find work, let's call out this barrier. Let's work to reduce it. And let's work to remove it so that we can get access to everybody looking for those multiple pathways to work. So with that, Dan, I think I'm just about at my time you gave me. I think we may be opening up for some questions, and I'll give us a pause there.
Well, thanks, Pam. Those words and your anecdotes are very valuable for our listeners today. And I know you're going to stick around and answer some questions. Really want to move forward and see if we have our audio fixed. So I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and she's on my board. Her name is Lori Wheeler, and she's works for the Marine Industries Association of South Florida. She actually operated the state's traffic and bicycle safety education program for the Boca Raton Police Services Department and served as the city's liaison to Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Board. She's an active member in the community, obviously serving on our board for many years. She co-chairs our Marine Advisory Council. She's a member of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance and board of directors, the Tower Forum board of directors and executive committee, and she chairs the Yacht Service Technician Apprenticeship Program and sits on the Winterfest Foundation board. So without further ado, we're going to hear from Lori.
My name is Lori Wheeler. I'm the Vice President of the Marine Industries Association of South Florida. We are a not-for-profit trade organization focused on the growth of the marine industry, the benefit of our members, the local community, and the environment. We are the largest marine trade organization in the Southeast United States, and we are owners of the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. I'm here today so that you can see the river. This is the new river that runs through Fort Lauderdale, and it's the lifeblood of our industry, an industry that pays 16% higher wages than the average in the state of Florida. The marine industry here in our region, which is Broward County, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade, is a $12.5 billion industry that employs over 149,000 people. Many of these jobs are high-skill, high-wage positions that don't necessarily mean a four-year university degree. Of course, there are some positions that will require a traditional college path, but it's also very common for a young person to attend a trade or technical college right out of high school. Many programs are 18 to 24 months, and once you're certified, you can start earning a very good salary. And think, if you're dedicated and work hard, by the age of 30, it's very possible for you to start owning your own business. One example of this is a gentleman who started his company in 2017. He began with one set of tools out of his personal vehicle, and from there, he built his company person by person, one at a time. He now has a shop at Lauderdale Marine Center and a fleet of vehicles and a staff that he built from scratch. He is a true leader in believing in his people and always looking for the next individual to bring into the industry and teach the trade. An entry-level technician can earn anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 per year, and a lead technician can make up to $100,000 per year. My point in telling you is that you can start with a vision, a dream, as long as you have the desire and the willingness to work hard. You can begin with absolutely nothing and end up traveling the world for jobs and clients. Be engaged, work hard, show initiative, and never give up. Pay attention so that you too can be the next business owner. South Florida here is the hub to all jobs related to the marine industry, whether it's purchasing boats, fixing or refitting yachts. We are known as the yachting capital of the world. Our industry is unique in that it has all the normal jobs that you're used to hearing, like IT, sales, marketing, graphic design. We also have mechanic jobs, technicians, painters, carpenters, welders, plumbers, AC, divers, propeller technicians, and so many more. And then beyond that, you have the opportunity to work on a boat, cruising around the world. These jobs, such as a captain, a stewardess, a deckhand, chefs, engineers, mates, where you're traveling the world and you're gaining amazing experiences and adventures, all while earning a nice salary and having the opportunity to save your money and earn and save it for your future. The opportunity in our industry is truly endless. We work with many training facilities right here locally that can support you in any of the jobs that I just mentioned. We work with maritime professional training, blue water crew training, the Star Center, Resolve Maritime Academy. We also work with trade schools such as Atlantic Technical College, McFadder Technical College, Broward College, Miami-Dade College, Palm Beach State, and Sheridan Technical College. All fantastic places to earn your skill and get certified in something that you want to do. The marine industry is an aging industry. We need to engage and hire the next generation so that the legacies that have been built can be carried on into the future. We need those next generation of hardworking individuals that can then move into leadership roles. It's important to be on time, ask questions, show initiative, and don't be afraid to try new things. Get out of your comfort zone. Being uncomfortable is good. I am uncomfortable every single day, but it pushes me to be a better person all around and builds my confidence, my experience, and my knowledge. Don't ever be afraid to fail. Failure is the only way that we learn. It allows us to learn, it allows us to grow, and it makes us who we are. What's important is how you bounce back and that you don't give up. Make goals and stick to them. Please do me a favor and visit miasf.org. There you will find a link to our Yacht Service Technician Apprenticeship Program at Atlantic Technical College. Side note, our current apprentices are making anywhere from $14 to $28 an hour while they're still in this program. You will also find a link to our Salty Jobs video series that is designed to introduce the younger people into the industry and showcase some of the many jobs that exist. Please check it out and see for yourself what this industry has to offer. Remember, get out of your comfort zone and you will do great things.
Our next speaker is Michael Goldstein, and Michael is on our board. He's our chair of our IT and Technology Council. He owns his own company, and he's a cyber awareness speaker and a Microsoft certified customer immersion experience trainer. Boy, that's a mouthful. The company's business goal is to help clients achieve success and grow their businesses. Now, his company's name is LAN Infotech, and they're a Microsoft Cloud Services provider, IT managed support company, and a leader in helping law firms, nonprofits, and medical organizations deploy cloud solutions, manage computer networks, keep data protected. Boy, that's an important part these days, and a top technology management company. So without further ado, Michael Goldstein.
Hi, I'm Michael Goldstein, president of LAN Infotech, and a pleasure to be here today. I'm here to talk to you about opportunities in the technology field. LAN Infotech is a managed service provider. We've been doing business in Fort Lauderdale for over 15 years. I have 22 employees, various ages, various groups that are out there. And I wanted to talk about, how you can be successful in the technology field. Like anything else, the bits and bytes make a difference. So initially, you really have to have some technology knowledge. But more importantly, it's personal skills. We feel that you have to be able to communicate to customers. You have to work on that because in reality, we're really customer service. So at LAN Infotech, we do a lot of work in cybersecurity, cloud security, as well as cloud service provider. So the industries that I really did want to focus in there, and as many people might say, it's more about what you know. You don't necessarily need a 4-year college degree, and that's not what we're really looking for. We're looking for people that are hard workers. Technology field is really a 7x24 environment. Clients call us all the time. You're always connected in nowadays. And some of the 3 fields that I wanted to focus on, that there are many opportunities, is of course cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a very wide-ranging technology, and it involves protecting the network, learning how to diagnose, and more importantly, learning how to protect yourself as well as protect customers and businesses. The second field that I think is really important that we're seeing a lot of gain in is artificial intelligence, or AI. And if you think about it, there's only so many hands and so many pairs of eyes that you can put at screens and monitor and maintain it. And artificial intelligence is really a great field to help learn. Learn what you're doing and have some educated decisions that come out there. The last field that I really feel strongly about, and there's a couple of terms that go out there, but I really do talk about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. But more important, the technology behind that really is blockchain. And as you understand these technologies, you'll see that these are really up and coming fields. You look at today's commercials, today's sponsorships, Crypto.com, FTX Center, really a very important technology to look at. And I think that a lot of industries are starting to recognize Bitcoin as a standard form of currency, especially in the not-for-profit area. Most places go out there and start to accept Bitcoin, but you really have to understand the good Bitcoin from the bad Bitcoin. At Land Infotech, we always recommend apprenticeships as well as summer internships so that you can test and feel the technology that you might like. When I started this 35 plus years ago, I was the only guy with a computer in my hand. I was the only guy originally with a laptop on an airplane or carrying around a cell phone. Now my 3-year-old grandson has an iPad that's out there. So just because you have a piece of technology in your hand doesn't mean that you're an expert. So I stress that there are a lot of opportunities out there, and maybe by the time you're seeing this video, there'll be 5, 6 other technologies there. And the thing that I'll say is that been in this industry for 35 plus years. I'm always learning. I'm always willing to go out there and change our business model and learn new technologies. So technology field is a great industry to go out there. And again, focus on a specialty. Thank you.
And thank you, Michael. Great words, great ideas. Our next speaker is also a friend of mine, Jerry Angeli. He is the founder and managing member of Sterling Operations, an organization whose mission is to accelerate emerging technologies in manufacturing, advancing market position, and creating new high-tech jobs. The strategic approach of Sterling Operations is to focus on identifying high potential, profitable manufacturing companies that can be acquired and aggressively transformed to rapidly grow in technology and excel it in the near term. Prior to forming Sterling Operations, he served as president and general manager of ACR Electronics. He holds degrees in engineering physics from Lehigh University and an MBA from Boston University. He's also an adjunct professor at NSU Florida's Heisinger School of Business and Entrepreneurship. So let's hear from Jerry Angeli.
Hello everyone, my name is Jerry Angeli, and I'm here to talk to you today about transportation and logistics and that topic that's been in the news for the last year and a half or so called the supply chain. I spent a good part of my career in design and manufacturing, and you're not done making products or delivering services until you get it to where it's going. So in loosely defined, transportation and logistics is about getting what you need, when you need it, where you need it, in good shape so it can be used by the customers or by whoever is going to use it next in the chain. The truth of the matter is the manufacturing measure that I've always used and keep on the top of my mind is on time, in full, error-free. So transportation logistics is a $6.1 trillion industry. It's a monster. You can't think of a product or a service that isn't delivered to you either on land, sea, air, by rail, or a specialty vehicle, or sometimes intermodal and multimodal forms of transportation, which means there's a lot of opportunity in the industry for anyone who wants to work in it. In particular, planning and executing the logistics function is where a lot of money can be made. Because you can think about all the experiences that you've had with transportation and logistics, the planning function is usually what gets everybody messed up. The other opportunities that exist in the industry include procurement and purchasing, transportation itself, the actual act of moving the goods and services to where they're used, warehousing and distribution. And so there are many opportunities for success that needn't have advanced degrees, but do need to have specialty knowledge of the craft of distribution, transportation, logistics, and supply chain activities. So let me give you a couple of examples that that have both elements in them, success and, let's say, learning. I knew and had business with a master craftsman who, when he worked by himself, was an excellent carpenter and was called upon by many, many customers to do what I'll call custom fine carpentry work. He was immediately successful because he did a good job and focused on customer service. And as his business grew, he added people, but never learned the act of planning and scheduling, not just the personnel that were now working with him, but also when the parts and goods and equipment was necessary at a site in order to deliver his craft. As such, he left money on the table. And until he learned how to do the planning function, he was rumbling and stumbling, and jobs took longer to do, and customers got irritated. But soon as he figured out that there is no craft that isn't finished until you've delivered the goods, you're leaving money on the table. So, what's the end of my message? A lot of opportunity in transportation and logistics when it's done right. And with that comes a lot of profitability. So, the magic formula is learn your craft, whatever part of transportation and logistics you want to do. Learn how to do it better than the other guys are doing it. Deliver superior customer service. And remember the triad: on time, in full, error-free, and you'll be successful in your career.
Thanks, Jerry. I like the triad there at the end. I try to do that all the time, and usually I miss one of them. But I'm striving to get better. I'm a work in progress, as I always say. Our next speaker is Jean Seaver, Associate Vice President of Learning and Development. Jean has led the learning and development function at Broward Health since 2006. Prior to joining Broward Health, she served as the ACNO Director of Nursing and Support Services and the Director of Education and Resources for Tenet Health, South Florida, Delray Beach campus. Jean has been actively involved in education and nursing administration in South Florida since 1986. As a registered nurse with a BSN and MSN degrees, Jean pursued a doctoral degree educational leadership with 58 postmaster credit hours achieved, and she holds various certifications from local Florida state universities, including Six Sigma Green Belt, managing quality healthcare systems, in addition to maintaining BLS and PALS instructor status. So let's hear from Jean.
Hi parents and prospective students, I'm Jean Seaver. I'm the AVP of Learning and Development at Broward Health, and I'm here to talk about healthcare careers today. If you choose a healthcare career, you will always be employed. If you're honest, you work hard, and you're determined, you can build your career and your trajectory. I started out as a CNA, a nursing assistant. I did not have the money to go to college, so I worked my way doing nursing skills, doing private duty, working in nursing homes to get some skills and get some money while I went to school. Any entry-level job will give you a big awareness of what's happening in healthcare. And healthcare is just not about nursing. It's radiology, it's respiratory, it's actually HVAC, it's elevator repair, it's nutritional services, it's also diagnostic, it's retail pharmacy, it's nutritional services, it's housekeeping. There are so many careers in healthcare for you. Just get in at the bottom level and go into a good organization. Most healthcare organizations have a very good promotional aspect if you go to school. We have scholarships, we have tuition reimbursement to help you to go part-time. We realize most people can't go to school full-time if they have to work. So we offer a lot of entry-level positions with progression for pool status. That allows you to go to school while you're working and gaining really good experience. Network. Always say yes if an opportunity is awarded to you to do something different in your role. Once you get in and establish your credibility, your dependability, and your willingness to learn, the sky's the limit for you. You will never have a job. You will always have a career that you can depend upon and you can grow in and reach financial success.
Thank you, Jean, very much. I think our listeners, you're probably picking up on a theme throughout all the comments from our speakers. Our last speaker, Dwight Stevenson, co-founder and owner of D. Stevenson Construction. He provides leadership and control of all field operations and supervision of all products and projects. Through Dwight's leadership in the company, he has established a strong following of repeat clients based on his own values of honesty, integrity, hard work, and the efficient and timely completion of projects, kind of like Jerry's triad that he was talking about. Outside the office, Dwight is tireless fundraiser for local charities through his own organization, the Dwight Stevenson Foundation. So let's hear from Dwight Stevenson.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dwight Stevenson, CEO of D. Stevenson Construction. We're general contractors, construction managers, and we're located here in South Florida. Our main office is in Fort Lauderdale at 6241 North Dixie Highway. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company and stuff, and some of our history, and my personal history as well, and tell you how I've come to the point I am in my life. First, I'd like to start out by give you a personal story and about how I kind of got into the business and stuff. I play. Some of you might know I played professional football. Didn't necessarily come right out of college and go right into the construction business and stuff. But it was something that always interests me. And I learned a lot from my father. My father was a man, he could do a lot of things and stuff. And he was kind of entrepreneur too at heart, but he had to do a lot of, he had 7 children and a wife, and so he worked an awful lot in order to take care of us and provide. And he did a great job for that. But I got my work ethics and my approach to things, I think, from my father. One of the industries that you can get involved with, and you do not have to have a degree, and you can do very, very well. You literally can start at the bottom, as I did too. I mean, I didn't go out and use like the Dwight, whatever name recognition I had at first. I went out, I went to work for a guy, I worked for him for like 3 years, trying to learn as much as I could about the industry. So I mean, I've demoed, been in people's houses and demoed cabinets and tried to replace doors. I didn't do a very good job, but I had people with me that could do a pretty good job and stuff. But this is one of the industries that you can get involved in, and degrees are not as important. You can start on literally on the very bottom, and you can work your way up. It's how hard you work, as well as the people that are around you that want to help you do well, that can help you to grow in this industry. I've been involved with the construction industry for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of people come and a lot of people go. But some of the guys that have stayed in the industry and that sort of thing, I've known a gentleman, he started literally hanging drywall, demoing the drywall, getting it prepped and ready for drywall to be installed, and counting, making sure we had the screws and all the equipment and everything that we needed in order to execute the work, to him going out and starting his own company. And literally, that's just an example. Now he's one of the biggest drywall subcontractors in Broward County here. That's just one example, but there are many examples out there. And you really got to get in there and just apply yourself, and knowing that there are going to be people that are going to be working against you. There's going to be some things that are going to go well for you, and those are, you just keep plugging away. It's fun once you get there. I think you look back and you'll say that you had a good time and it was fun. But going through it, it's not the easiest thing in the world. So that's kind of like most things in life. It's going to be some tough moments and tough times.
Well, thanks, Dwight. And I'd ask all of our panelists to come on camera so we can kind of talk about some of the things we heard today. So the first question, maybe if you can just open your mics, then we can hear what you're going to say. Then question from Amparo says, my son does not wish to attend college. He will attend Sheridan Technical. That's very good. During the summer, studying web development. And will he be able to get into any career with only few certifications and no college degree? So who would like to answer that question? Please unmute yourself. And Lynn, you're probably a good person to answer that since you're from Sheridan McFadder. Go ahead, Lynn. Why don't you take a stab at that?
Good afternoon, and thank you for that opportunity. Yes, there's lots of careers, as our speakers have spoken about. Mr. Goldstein talked about it's getting in, and there are lots of things that you can do with a certification in this from this program. Dan, I was adjusting with the computer, so if you could just tell me that question again, I want to make sure that I address it specifically.
Sure. Let me get my camera, my thing on mute, and I'm going to look at the
apologize.
Q&A again. And it was as it related to her son, or his son is going to Sheridan this summer for web development. And the question is, will they be able to get any career position with only a few certifications and no college degree?
Okay, so the answer is yes. And of course, we talk about entrepreneurship. So there's opportunities to freelance in web development. There, it leads into some of the social media pieces. I know that some of the people on here, actually, their children with college degrees have been kind of pitch hitting and doing some freelance work with web development. So yes, there was lots of opportunities for career, and it's an entryway. You can take it on to Broward College, FAU, or to Kaiser as you advance, but getting the industry certification from Sheridan is a great step forward.
So that kind of brings me to the question. I remember when I was young, I was known as the intern king because I wouldn't turn down an intern, didn't matter if it paid or didn't pay. So how do they talk to us about how you would recommend they get a foot in the door? That seems to be something that I think some of our viewers are looking for. How would you recommend that they start?
Start with a certification. I mean, in this case, it's an A+ certification. And the more certifications you have, the more degrees you have. I mean, Jean Seaver spoke about it. Look where she started and look where she is today. You work your way up, you find where the passion is, and you expand upon everything. And most of us need a paycheck. So getting the certification can lead to a quicker paycheck, but you always want to be a lifelong learner, and you always want to be seeking the next certification or the next degree.
Lifelong learning. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of that. Lori, talk about, if you wouldn't mind, getting a foot in the door into the marine industry. How would you recommend they do that?
Yeah, sure. It's actually funny that you said that. I know that, one of the things that we were asked was, to tell a little bit about how we got into the industry or our story. And that's something I didn't really touch on myself. I myself was looking for a job and I didn't know where to go. And I happened to respond to, actually, I basically knew somebody who was like, oh, I'll reach out to so-and-so and see if they're hiring. And I started as a very low end person in this, where I am right now. And now I'm vice president. So I basically worked my way up. But to get your foot in the door, I mean, it just takes communicating with people. It takes, reaching out to companies, reaching out to people. If you see a company that you might even be interested in, reach out to them. I know, and by all means, reach out to me if you want to. I put my information in the chat, and if you don't have it, I can put it in again. But we're constantly placing interns through, specifically in the summertime. So if you're interested in just getting, whether you want to have a career in the marine industry or not, just getting your foot in the door and learning something new. I say connections. I think connections are the most important things in our lives. And that's a big way to go.
Thanks, Lori. So there's a question that was posed in the chat from a former colleague of mine, and used to run Career Source Broward, Mason Jackson, and his question, I'm just going to read it. What would any panelist can answer this? What would you say to parents who think that certificate training is a step down from college, especially when the most popular majors in college are psychology and sociology? Who would like to answer that one?
I'll go because I'm back now. Lost internet in the hotel I'm at. But I think that you look at all the certificates that are out there. I'll say from my company and my industry, we want people that want to work and want to learn. We're willing, and we see a lot of people going out there and training. We don't require a 4-year degree. I like to tell the story that, in my sophomore year, I failed my first computer class and, came out of college without a computer degree. So I think that, there's a lot that's out there. There were a lot that were posted in programs from various colleges that are out there, and we don't require a degree. And I think a lot of companies look at that, at least in the IT industry.
Thanks, Michael. Anyone else want to take a stab at it? Jerry?
Dan, I'll jump in there as well.
Pam, go ahead, Pam.
I should have raised my hand there. Sorry, Jerry. I would say that there's a couple of things to unpack there. So one is that when you look at, for anybody that has a 4-year degree, and when you have that graduation, there's a shelf life on the learning that took place to get that degree. The certifications, as Lynn and so many others have already said, are very important for the lifelong learning aspect of this. So why not start there? Because the certificates that are available today are relevant to the technology we're using today. So it's important to do that. But I want to come back to Mason's question, which is, what do you share with the parents? And I think that one of the key parts here, which I know sometimes is hard to hear, is make sure that the parents understand what's important to their youngster. What is it that their youngster is passionate about? What is it that they're looking to pursue? And in the future world of work, we're going to see where when companies start with a job description or a job title, they're already behind the curve. And we're going to be more into a skills and competency-based environment in the jobs of the future. So I would definitely start with their audience, and whoever that student is that's looking, let's start with them first. Let's see what they're interested in, and then help them with which pathway is going to help get them there.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Lori, did you have something to add to that? Is that why your hand is up?
I did originally, and then I forgot what I was even going to say, to be honest with you. I think my point was, I think even in the chat, when Mason asked the question, I don't know if they could hear it in my video, but even an entry-level technician in the marine industry, out of just entry level, you can make $40,000 to $50,000 a year. And then once you work your way out, that's pretty good for somebody right out of college, or not out of college, out of high school, or somebody that's just learning. That's not always a guaranteed thing, but you can make 40 to 50 right, just entry level. And then when you're a lead technician, you can make $100,000 a year. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe I should have gone a different path myself and gone that trade route. In all seriousness, that I'm blown away by the amount of money that the trades people earn. And I learn that every day, just being around this stuff. It's pretty impressive. But
thanks, Lori. Appreciate it. Jerry, you had something to add?
Yes, Dan, thank you. I was a student of the trades because my dad was a master craftsman, and I leveraged those positions to put myself through school. The answer to Mason's question is it doesn't matter. The certificates don't matter. What matters is what Pam said. I want that job. I want to do this work. So, and then once your foot is in the door, what's equally important is any job that you're given to do better than anybody else. Do an outstanding job so that you're noticed. It's your brand. And showing up isn't good enough anymore. What matters is every time your boss or the president of the company gives you something to do, it's done on time, in full, error-free. And you're confident. You're in control. It's your brand. When management recognizes that, you'll move like lightning through the organization.
Yeah, agreed, especially in this day and age. Hiring is paramount right now. It's the It is the biggest deal for businesses right now. Everyone is looking for folks to come in, but they want willing employees. They want employees that show up on time, are ready to engage and listen to instructions and follow those. Well, there's a question out there, panelists, as it relates to young adults who are unsure of what they want to do. They haven't really zeroed in on something. What would you recommend that they do in order to get that? I'm going to give one recommendation to prime the pump, and that's through Broward schools and through the business community. We're putting a new face on the summer internship program. It's called Talent Forge. And so that's in process right now. So you should get involved in that, students. So that you can figure out, and that's for what, Lynn, I think of 16 to 21-year-olds can engage in that program through Broward schools. Look for Talent Forge. Is that correct, Lynn?
16 to 24.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to ask the panelists, what else would you recommend? Pamela, let's go with you first.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, Dan. There's also the opportunity, besides all the things we've already talked about, is to look for one of the many, not just ours, staffing companies that are available. It affords the opportunity to really try different assignments with different clients, because most of us in the industry represent a good 95 to 98% of the Fortune 500 companies. So it's an opportunity to really get some experience while learning about a job you may be interested in.
Thank you. And Jean, you had something to add.
Thank you. I also think that students also should have an opportunity to go online and do assessments. A lot of times they don't know what they want to be, and a good assessment will help them. And there's many out there that are free. They're validated assessments to figure out, are they an extrovert? Are they an introvert? Do they want to work with things? They work with ideas? Do they want to do repetitive things? And I think that's a start, because, that will lead them to the right types of internships. What kind of person are they? And in healthcare, I can kind of tell you who gravitates to what based on their personality. The IT folks usually have a different, perspective and how they are analytical and thinking, versus people that are more, the caregivers that want to do the personal social interaction. So, there's lots of free, personality assessments for high schoolers out there to help them with career choices, to intrinsically assess, what are their natural attributes.
Great, Jean, thanks. And Laura, you mentioned apprenticeship programs. Why don't you fill us in
lastly,
on that a little bit?
Yeah, I just want to quickly mention that there are so many, there are opportunities in certain, industries that offer apprenticeship programs. And I know the marine industry is one of them, but that's just something that's another way to get involved with something. Even if you want to try internship, apprenticeship programs, if you find that you really like something, there's the pre-apprenticeship programs. I know that one is being worked on right now. We're starting it with junior achievement, so that's open to a lot of the high schools. Something very new, and it's specific to outboard engines. But then we have the yacht service technician apprenticeship program, which I had also put in the chat a while ago. If anybody wants any information on that, so that's another option that I think that people can go as well.
Thanks.
We have ours. I just want to say ours is with Atlantic Tech College. So shout out to Lynn and her team for that. So.
Right. I'm going to add something to, it's been alluded to a little bit, and you can see in the chat about Breyer, somebody asked about Myers-Briggs online assessment tools and all those types of things. So thanks for that. There's plenty. If you just Google, that online, you'll find it. I've been through many of them. I found out what I didn't qualify for or what I wasn't good at. And that was definitely what Jerry's good at. So I didn't go down that road and become an engineer, for example. That wasn't my strong suit at all. But one thing that really helped me, outside of my parents, of course, that were guiding forces in my life, was I found mentors outside of my parents, whether it was through, for me early on, it was in Cub Scouts, but there's other places that you can. Big Brothers Big Sisters has great programming. There's other places that you can go to find someone who's successful. And that's one thing I would tell everyone who's listening to this: find the most successful people you can and surround yourself with that energy, because that will lead you to success. I'm going to close it out now and thank our panelists for being part of this and the great information that you have. Again, we're going to have all of this on YouTube, and we'll send out the videos with volume to you all so you can hear what our folks had to say. I want to thank our sponsors, Broward Technical Colleges and Technical High Schools, Atlantic, McFadder, and Sheridan, Florida Atlantic University Center for Online and Continuing Education, Broward College, and Kaiser University. And of course, I have to thank our council for all their great work and Andy Fernandez for his leadership. That wraps it up for Multiple Pathways to the American Dream. Again, thank you for attending, and we'll see you again next year.